Welcome back to the streets where we keep it real and only shop at Suburban. My name's Arbor Mahoney. Today we are reviewing Scream 2. Scream 2 was released on December 12th of 1997, which was less than a year after the original first hit theaters. Like the original, Scream 2 had many production troubles, including one time where the script leaked online and that led to many on-set rewrites. With a bigger budget and a script done before the original even left theaters, did this movie become an all-time sequel or a mediocre mess? Welcome back to Creaming for Scream, where every week leading up to Scream 7, I'll be reviewing a movie from the Scream franchise. I have a lot more to say later, but for now, I think it's time we get to... We open up with a couple at a movie theater seeing a new horror movie named Stab. Stab is the movie adaptation of Gale Weathers' newest book, based off of the events of the first movie. The couple is given free Ghostface costumes, and the boyfriend goes to the bathroom and gets stabbed in the head and is killed. Someone in a Ghostface costume sits next to the girlfriend. She thinks it's her boyfriend, but when she finds blood on the guy, she realizes it isn't her boyfriend, and she's stabbed in the stomach, so she tries to get away, but nobody notices her screaming. So she stands in front of the screen as she dies, and we cut to a title card. It's been 2 years since Sydney survived the Woodsboro massacre, and she's now attending college, and we see her wake up to a prank call, and she sees Clint Weary on TV, as he has been fully exonerated after it was revealed he didn't kill Sydney's mom. We also meet Sydney's college roommate and best friend Haley, and they find out about the movie theater murders, and it turns out they were attending the same college as Sydney, so Sydney swarmed with reporters. We see that Randy is attending the same college, and he's in a film class with his new film bro, Mickey, and the whole class is discussing the murders and sequels. Sydney meets up with Randy to discuss the murders, and we meet Sydney's new boyfriend, Derek. Gale Weathers arrives at the college campus and meets her new cameraman, Joel, as she shuts down a desperate reporter named Debbie Salt. Sydney sees Dewey walking around, so she goes to talk to him. He decides that he's going to stick around for a while. Gale and Clint Weary approach Sydney, and Sydney slaps Gale, and Dewey's mad at Gale because of the way she portrayed him in her book. That night, we see a sorority girl named Cece get a call from Ghostface, and he threatens her, so she hangs up and hears a noise from upstairs, so she runs outside the house. Cece goes back inside to look around, and Ghostface jumps out and chases her, and eventually pushes her through a balcony door. Then he stabs her and throws her off of the building. Across the street, there's a house party that Sydney's at, and everyone hears about Cece's death, and they crowd around Cece's house, and Gale shows up, and Debbie Salt is already there, but leaves very quickly. Back at the house party, Sydney gets a call from Ghostface. He appears behind her, locks Derek out, and chases Sydney, but she escapes, as Dewey gets there and finds Derek bleeding and Ghostface missing. Mickey talks to Sydney, and it causes her to get suspicious of Derek, so Dewey questions him. At the police station, Gale finds out that Cece was just a nickname, that her real name was Casey, and that the other victims' names match the original Woodsboro's victims' names. And then Gale runs into Debbie Salt again and defends Dewey. At lunch, Sydney and her friend group are talking, and Derek decides to get on top of a table to sing and dance for Sydney and declare his love. Dewey and Randy meet up to talk about the rules for a sequel. Rule number 1, the body count is bigger. Rule number 2, carnage candy. It's more brutal than the last. And finally, rule number 3, if you want to become a franchise, never, no matter what. Dewey cuts him off to talk about the suspects. So we cut to Gale's cameraman reading her book and gets scared because of the fate of her last cameraman. We see Sydney rehearsing for the play she's starring in, and Ghostface is there, so she freaks out. Derek shows up to escort Sydney, but it freaks her out, so she breaks up with him, and he's upset about it. We see the Woodsboro survivors, minus Sydney, try to come up with a game plan, and then Randy gets a call from Ghostface, so they all search for him, and as Randy starts to taunt Ghostface by making fun of the previous killers, he is grabbed into a van by Ghostface and killed. And a little while later, Gale, Dewey, and her cameraman Joel find his body inside Gale's van. Ghostface messages Sydney, and while the cops look for him, Cotton tries to convince Sydney to do an interview. He looks and acts psycho, so the police question him. At the police station, Sydney finds out about Randy's death, and Cotton is released as we see Gale yell at Debbie Salt again, and Gale's cameraman quits. Gale and Dewey decide to search throughout her footage to look for the killer, but they get busy fucking. While they're doing the deed, a tape starts playing of all the victims, including them, so Dewey runs out to find Ghostface, but he appears behind Gale and Ghostface chases her. Gale hides from Ghostface in a room, but he's already there, and Dewey shows up and is stabbed by Ghostface, as Gale watches behind a noise-canceling window. Outside, Derek says bye to Sidney and Haley as they leave. Then Derek is kidnapped by his frat and tied up on the set of the play. Ghostface attacks Sidney's car and kills her escorts and crashes the car. So Sidney tries to unmask him, but fails, and then she crawls over him to escape the car with Haley. Sidney goes back to unmask him again, but he's already gone, and then he jumps out and kills Haley. Gale runs into Cotton with blood on his hands, so she runs off and steals Debbie Salt's phone to call the police. Sidney walks into the playset and is trapped as Derek's body falls down, and Ghostface confronts Sidney, and Ghostface is revealed to be Mickey, Randy's film bro. And he says that Derek is his partner, but Derek says that he's lying, so Mickey shoots Derek, and he dies. Mickey reveals that his motive is fame. He wants to get caught and blame the movies in the trial. And then Sidney attacks him, and so he chases her, as it's revealed that Mickey's real partner is Debbie Salt. But that's not her real name. Debbie Salt is actually Billy Loomis's mom. Mrs. Loomis turns on Mickey and shoots him, and Gale as she reveals that her motive is plain and simple revenge, and that she's going to get away with killing Sidney. Sidney runs away from Mrs. Loomis, and then Sidney destroys the set, and Mrs. Loomis is buried in it. As Sidney is walking away, Mrs. Loomis jumps out and attacks Sidney, but Cotton shows up and holds Mrs. Loomis at gunpoint, while Mrs. Loomis holds Sidney at knife point, and Sidney explains everything to Cotton, so he shoots Mrs. Loomis. Gale comes up and it's revealed that she's alive, as Mickey bursts back to life, but he's drained with bullets by Sidney and Gale. As an extra precaution, Sidney double taps Mrs. Loomis, as we cut to outside during the day, and Gale's cameraman shows up just as Dewey is rolled out and he's alive. As the credits roll, our new survivors are Sidney, Gale, Dewey, and Cotton. As always, let's start with my negatives. The characters in this movie just aren't as dynamic as the ones from the original. Like Mickey and Haley. They were kind of just Mickey was more interesting once it was revealed that he was one of the ghost faces. But before that, he barely even had any scenes, so you couldn't really guess that he was the killer. Another negative is that in the final act, when everything is happening, it felt like everyone died every, 3 or 4 minutes. And then they would die again, and die again, and die again, until they finally died. Or just survived. Which got annoying very quick. My final and biggest negative is the kills. As we're told by Randy, this sequel is supposed to be more brutal. Which I guess it kind of is. But at the same time, almost every kill was a knife stab in some way. Whereas in the original, Stu got a TV to the dome, and Tatum got killed by a garage door. I just wish there were more kills that weren't knife stabs. Now for my positives. I really liked Mrs. Loomis. I thought she was a really good Ghostface, especially on rewatch. And I also liked that she showed up as Debbie Salt throughout the movie. She honestly showed up more than Mickey did. So, that was cool. I like that. Another positive is some of the amplified whodunit aspects with Dewey and Gale. The stuff with them trying to figure out who was the killer was really amazing. My last positive before moving on is the opening scene. Obviously, the opening scene to the original is a classic. Everyone, or almost everyone, knows that scene. But honestly, I think I like this one more. I like that it took place in a movie theater and that you were suspicious of everyone because everyone had a Ghostface costume. I just really liked it. Anyways, I think it's time to get to... This movie is good, and not a bad sequel, but it's also kind of messy and left me wanting more from it. So, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars out of 5. Thank you for tuning in to Creaming for Scream. This has been the second part. Next week, we'll be going over Scream 3 in part 3. I also want to thank anyone who's watched any videos on this channel or our main channel. January has been a very hard month for me, and these videos have helped me keep on going. So, thank you. Anyways, don't forget keep your mental up. It's important. This is Urban Mahoney, clocking out.